Hello, Laura Weigel here with the Will2WOW Jewelry and the Holistic RX Remedies. And I wanted to talk to you today about a challenge that I and a few other of my friends had given ourselves. And this was inspired by a book club that we had done a few years ago. My friend and I specifically hosted this book club with the Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. You've probably seen this book, heard her TED Talks, but this really hit home for me as a recovering perfectionist. So the challenge is to put ourselves out there, basically, that if we wait for everything to be perfect, we're never really going to ever make those steps forward. And we have to do things that make us uncomfortable. So when we first were doing this book club, that's when I originally started doing videos on I drew a blank now. Oh, Periscope, and then into YouTube. And it was just about putting myself out there and doing something that was very uncomfortable for myself. I can remember just sweating all the way through the videos, especially Periscope because it was live, and so it was live interaction. YouTube I liked better because I could first record the videos and then put them up, so it felt a little bit more natural to me. But it was about doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, because that's kind of like our growth point, is right where we feel that discomfort and pushing through that. And this book really helped a lot for me. So I kind of wanted just to remind you guys about this book. For me, it was about the perfectionism. And for those of you who don't know my story, I'm not really going to get into it, but a few years ago when I had almost lost my son and he was on life support, some of the lessons that started to come to me in my recovery from that, from the pain, was it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, life's so short. You can be here and then be gone in 1 second. So I started thinking, who gives a shit, basically? Just use your voice, put yourself out there. And then through like some grief counseling that I went to get through that period in my life, I started to realize that perfectionism was holding me back a little bit. And she had explained to me that it's really just an addiction. It's the same as drugs or alcohol. It's just your addiction of choice, right? So I started to really sit with that because I didn't like hearing that. I was a perfectionist. Of course I wasn't dealing with an addiction. And she explained to me that really resonated after I was resistant to it at first, was that any addiction is kind of disconnecting from reality, right? It's about a way of disconnecting. It's a distraction from reality. And so my distraction were all my lists and organizing everything and keeping everything perfect. So to get to my point, the challenge was to do some videos right when you felt inspired. And the perfectionist me would feel very inspired normally when I was going for my walk or in my shower, which of course I don't suggest doing videos then, but it wasn't really in opportune times to do a video. So the challenge was just to do it anyway, right? Just to do it anyway. And I did. And so I'm really proud of myself for doing that, because it was very empowering to just put them out there, because once it was out there, you don't really look at it again. You don't look back. And to be very honest with you, I've never rewatched one video that I've done. Not one video. I've never edited. If there's even been a header or footer added to a video, that's because I pass it on to my assistant to do. So I'm not there yet at watching myself. That might be my next challenge. But I want to, it was just very enlightening, and I'll probably stick with it, because that is when inspired messages come. It's not when everything is perfect. And I just would like to inspire you to do the same. It's Mercury retrograde, right? So it's about revisiting things, and it's about communication. Mercury rules communication. Mercury also happens to rule my sun sign and my rising sign, or both Virgo. So to communicate when I was feeling inspired was empowering for me, and to move past caring what anybody thought was very empowering for me. And I just wanted to share A few crystals that I love for that. If that's something that resonates with you and something that you would like to work on, perfectionism, communication, pushing through what other people don't think, just do it anyway. And remember, if your thing happens to be videos, which mine is, because that's how work is for me right now, as I connect with all of you online. And if that happens to be for you, then just remind yourself you can make the video, you don't have to post it, but at least start with the expression. So what I loved for that was this stone that I normally don't work with, and I just wanted to show it to you guys really quick, is Angel Light. Because it's not just about communicating, but our throat chakra isn't just about communicating, it's also about listening. And I loved Angel Light because it's, you know, believed to help connect to the angels or higher realms or your intuition, if you will, whatever you want to call that. But it kind of brings in a download and helps you to listen to your inner voice, to your inner self, to that inner knowing. So that really helped, I felt, with bringing through my messages or gaining clarity on my messages. And of course, the aquamarine that I wear all the time, even in the shower, which I probably shouldn't, and I tell my clients not to, but I wear all the time. The other one is this beautiful, gorgeous iolite, stimulating the throat and the third eye chakra to help with communication, and again, communicating from an intuitive inner knowing type place. And so those are the ones I really wanted to share with you today. And the Auralite, opening up that crown chakra. Really so that you're connected to source and you're not so into the worry and caring what other people think, but knowing that it's for a higher and better good. You might send a message that might even just touch one person, right? Or it might be that you're hearing it for the first time. You're hearing in a different way as you communicate, and so that it helps you to heal. Whatever it may be, I just encourage you to just do it and step out of your comfort zone. So I'm going to also be downloading my walk message today that is not perfect at all, just to hold myself accountable. Bye.